It is time for a new feature here on Undisputed, Young Money. These young men are buddies of mine, proteges of Lil Wayne, who believes in their ability to perform and to talk sports. So do I. From Dallas, we have Yella Beezy, and from Wayne's hometown of New Orleans, Allan Cubas. Yella, you're close with several of the star Cowboys. How far does this team go this season?
Man, I feel like we're going to go far. I feel like Dallas Cowboys can go further as we can go. Like, last season, I feel like we beat ourselves out. So, as long as we don't make them same mistakes, I feel like we can go farther than whatever we can. You know what I'm saying? I feel like we can go wherever we feel.
Yella, it's been 27 years since we even got to an NFC championship game. Can you at least see that far?
Yeah. I mean, we got the tools around and we have the talent. We got the tools on the defense, like lockdown corners. You know what I'm saying? Michael Parsons, of course, back there. We got J.Ron Curse back there. We got DeMarcus Bland. We got a lot of talent on the defense end, of course. And then on the offense, of course, we got Dak. We got Pollard, Deuce, Cooks. You know what I'm saying? CD, Gallup. We got the talent. It just, we can't beat ourselves. That's the only thing about it.
Yeah. Allan, you want to fire back at that?
I mean, hearing all those names, they undeniably have the talent. And this seemed like a year where all the stars aligned and they were primed for a deep run, but then right on schedule, in typical Cowboy fashion, here comes the unnecessary distraction, but not unexpected. So I think that's going to play its factor. I think that they could still have a great year, but inevitably will succumb to their own expectations, like always.
Allan, you sound like you're speaking as a New Orleans Saints diehard fan, as you are.
Who that nation
is this just a bunch of pure Cowboy hate on your part?
You know, I would love to be on here on behalf of Who That Nation and tell y'all the Cowboys hit, but, you know, it's undeniable. They have talent on both sides of the ball. I think the loss of Zeke could play an effect. You know, it's going to put a big earnest on Pollard. But like I said, all these unnecessary distractions could take their course in the locker room, and we'll see how it plays out.
So, Yella, you're very close with Micah, as in Parsons. What gut feeling do you get from him about how far he thinks this team can go?
Micah got out of confidence. That's one person I don't feel like you got to do no worrying about. Like, he going to get up, he do his job early in the morning. Like, whenever he turn it on, It's like no stopping for him. So, Micah, and then he a team leader, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like, Micah, you don't have to worry about him. He going to come out there and show out every time. So that's undeniable. Like, I just feel like you can't even just too much worry about him.
All right, but where you and I, Yella, part ways, I've tried to love Dak, and I just can't love him anymore. I hope he makes a fool out of me this year, but I just can't trust him the way I used to. You've been around with these guys. What's your gut feeling on how Dak will do this year after he tied for the lead in interceptions last year?
Man, a lot of it was like a lot of distractions. I'm not going to lie. You can't make excuses for nobody because that's their job at the end of the day. But I know Dak is not what he was last season, like the interception. Like, he was going through some stuff. You know, he was coming back, you know, Rush was doing his thing, so ain't no telling what he had on his mind. Then, like, you know, the offense ain't giving him too much help with bringing more distractions, but I feel like that's something he just have to overcome. You know, that's his job, so he just got to come show everybody that he's not what he was last season. He's not the interception prone. Like, that's his first year doing that. We don't know that for just throwing like a lot of picks, but you know, he the most hated, seemed like the most talked about quarterback. So of course they want to make some type of trend or some type of chain of him, but we all know when he perform, he can perform. You know, like, we ain't gonna let one hiccup stop us. Not at all.
Yella, can this team rise above its head coach Mike McCarthy? Do you trust him?
I trust him enough. You know, he's a good coach, and I feel like that's why he's trying to step in on a play calling. Because, like I said, I like Kellen Moore, not knocking Kellen Moore and what he's done. I just felt like last season, a lot of the play calling was kind of out of wink. You know, a lot of stuff. I feel like we should have ran the ball on certain situations versus throwing, and that put pressure on Dak also. You get what I'm saying? Like I said, we can't make excuses for it, but a lot of the play calling we can make. You know, like, it could have been better judgment. You know, so I feel like them getting to running the ball more, it'll put a lot of less stress on him, should I say, you know?
So, Allen.
So I feel like we run about, get back to the old Cowboys and run it down your throat. And then, you know, I feel like we'd be good.
Allen, how sick would it make you if our Dallas Cowboys got to this year's Super Bowl?
Oof, man.
He'll cry. He'll cry.
It ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen. Look, like you said, Dak's been a good quarterback, but good ain't enough. It's gonna come a time where he has to be great to get him over that hump.
Yeah, I agree.
And all these distractions. I mean, let me ask you, Skip, how many games will it take for him playing bad, or how many losses will it take before that noise gets loud on that sideline?
No, it's already pretty loud. Yeah.
No, Rush got the hottest seat in America.
That's gonna start automatically. I don't care. That's gonna start like soon as he get in. It's like he can have one bad game. They gonna usually gonna make it something.
That's what I'm saying.
Bring in such. He just got to make sure he don't allow that to dictate how he play.
Yeah, he have 2-3 bad games. You know, then Cooper Rush probably got the hottest seat in America. He has 2-3 bad possessions. You know how that's gonna happen. So
And by the way, we now have this kid named Trey Lance who's going to be a star in this league one day. Maybe it'll be sooner than later. So, okay, all right, enough Cowboys for the moment. Let's get back to the biggest story right now in the NFL. That is the Hard Knocks Jets of Aaron Rodgers. I'll start with you, Allen. Do you see this year's Jets flying or flopping?
I see them flying. I'm loving them. I'm loving what I'm seeing. I'm loving the camaraderie. I'm loving the energy. Aaron Rodgers seems to be motivated. You know, he's an ultra competitive guy. I think what's going to be big is coming out these first 6 games. The schedule will not do them any favors. No. So I think that it's going to be paramount to come out 3-3 at worst. And I think that we're feeling good about themselves. You know, defensively, most would say they have a top 5 defense. They got a stud at wide receiver, a good running back duo with Brees and Dalvin. The offensive line is going to be key. The offensive line can give Aaron the protection. I think they're going to have a good year. And on top of that, I don't necessarily think it's necessarily all fly or fire this year. I think it's a 2-year window. I think these guys can get to 10, 11 games and a potential playoff berth. Next year would be where more expectations are placed on them. So I think that they're going to fly.
Yella.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they can fly a little bit. You know, you never can count out A-Rod. Like, he just one of those guys. Like I say, for some reason, it's like he have our number. Maybe it'll be different. Yeah, it'll be different that he's not over there at Green Bay anymore. So hopefully we can just get him out the way. Because we played on second game, right?
Second game at Dallas. It's going to be a big L for the Jets.
Yes, man. So I see a lot of potential and a lot of talent on their team. Like, I'm not gonna lie, that's one of the teams that I feel like is gonna be punching this season. Like, they might be slept on, but you can't deny they got talent behind. I'm talking running back to quarterbacks to wide receivers. Then you got South on like from the corners. Like, man, they got some talent. You can't deny it. It just is they gonna be able to all click together this summer. That's all that's about. Is Rodgers gonna bring that leadership? You know what I'm saying? Like, is he gonna be not the Rodgers we know who throw the attitudes and the fits with the team if something not going right? You know.
Yep, I agree.
Dealing with younger team. He dealing with a younger team, and a lot of them, you know, they can't get that pressure from the veterans like that. You know, sometimes it makes them uneasy. So.
Yeah, just remember.
I think that's why it's important.
Go ahead, Allen. Yep.
That's why it's important to have guys like Randall Cobb, veteran leadership. You know, I think it's more important what he may do off the field than on the field. You know, getting those guys ready, because I think everything's going well. The energy seems to be good, but what's going to happen when they get punched in the mouth a couple times? And I think that's what's going to
I think they will early on, thanks to that impossible schedule that they're playing. But here's the big picture. Just remember, Green Bay finally said that's enough of Aaron Rodgers, that he got to be more trouble than he was worth. He can blame deflect. He can finger point. Last year, his stats were all career lows. And remember, he has let them down again and again and again in the postseason. Again, not against us, the Dallas Cowboys, but he's 7-9 in the playoffs since he won that one Super Bowl 13 years ago. So, Allen, back to you. Are you sure you trust some new Aaron Rodgers to just snap back into the old MVP Aaron Rodgers as he goes on 40 years of age? I don't.
I think we're going to find out, and I actually do. I think if we had all this information, no one knows it more than Aaron Rodgers. And I think a new beginning might be just what he needed, all this pressure on him. He's ultra competitive. He almost has no choice playing in this conference with that scheduling. You got to see Josh Allen 2 times, Tua. You got potentially Lamar down a year in the playoffs. You got Patrick Mahomes later in the season.
Yep.
So I think he has no choice but to be on his A game. He seems to be mentally invested. He got it tough. That first 6 games is gonna be tough, man.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying he's got a tough schedule. It's like he moves somewhere where it's like it's either show up or go home, because it's one of them situations. Like he faces some top hitters. It's gonna really show us if he really like he say he is. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's how it was gonna boil down to.
All right, great job, gentlemen. I will look forward to seeing both of you a week from today, every Wednesday here on Undisputed. So thank you very much. And speaking of the Dallas Cowboys, we're about to debate why the Dallas Cowboys just had to trade away a former second-round pick. It just got me good. What? No mercy, no mercy, no mercy.